Greetings, members of the Forest Garrison. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Cataclismo, Episode 2, Time Anchor.
I see you've made yourself comfortable, Hermes.
War Table. From the War Table, Eris decides her next destination. Each castle figure marks an available mission. Click on any mission to start it.
All right, Bird Brain. What say you to a ramble in the forest? I need to know what's going on.
So these two are the original two missions that we just played, the tutorial missions. So now I'm no longer playing in the tutorial. This is the proper campaign. And we have the mission, it's still technically a tutorial mission, but the Forest Garrison. If you want to replay any of the missions, you can click here. So if there are secondary objectives that you didn't manage to accomplish, you can always replay. And you can also change the difficulty as well, ramping it up or down as appropriate. And in these missions, it will show that it's like a main mission, that's a tutorial, how many nights you have to survive, and the objectives and all of that. So let's go ahead with the Forest Garrison. Still no word from our Forest Garrison. Go. If the worst has happened, rebuild. Rectora Elena. The missions is to build a settlement economy and defend the citadel at all costs. So this is a tutorial mission. The first mission was a tutorial mission about controls. The second mission was a tutorial mission about building defenses, and this one is about building an economy. So let's go capitalism. Or something like it.
It's in tatters. I never thought this place would fall.
What falls can rise, Herald. We need to get this settlement working again.
The Citadel. Your Citadel is your settlement's heart. It must not fall. It stores natural resources like wood, which you will need to build your fortress. Settlements need other buildings to grow. You cannot place buildings such as sawmills outside your Citadel's territory, but pieces such as stone bricks can be built outside these limits.
We shall need wood before all else.
Wood is the foundation of a settlement's economy. Build sawmills close to trees to obtain continuous supply of wood. Each sawmill will need trees around it to work properly. Sawmills are in the resource section of the build menu, which is here. So depending on where you place the sawmill, the wood that you see here is in yellow. So if I put the sawmill, let's say here, I would get barely any wood income. But up here, it would be quite a bit higher. It also has the bounding box. And this bounding box demonstrates or shows how close the next sawmill over can be built. So if I build one here and build one here, I can fit two sawmills up here, no problem. So space things out accordingly. The other thing, which I'm sure the tutorial will explain in just a second, is these structures need a clear path to bring the resources back to the Citadel. But we'll get to that in just a moment.
Constructing this will take a moment.
We should build some steps to the sawmill while it is underway.
Ensuring a clear path. All buildings need a clear path to your Citadel. If the route to your Citadel is obstructed, that building will shut down and won't operate. So here's some wood pieces. And I'm going to try to build this as inexpensively as possible, using the scenery that already exists. Actually, I'm going to change this around, because if we eventually go to the other side, it'd be useful to have a stairwell be able to go both directions. Oh, and also let's, I'm going to delete one of the blueprints I already have, because leaving that up would feel akin to cheating. Also, I would want to demonstrate how to design blueprints before I start using them. There we go. It has a clear path all the way up to the sawmill now.
For Ogar.
Excellent. The workers are gathering wood now.
Resource workers. Sawmills spawn workers that carry wood to the nearest storage area. For now, that's your citadel. In the future, you do get access to warehouses. Your workers can collect resources more speedily if you build them shorter routes. So the worker here
folk to live.
has to bring the wood down to the citadel, and the shorter the route they have, the faster they collect. A settlement needs citizens. Without a new supply of citizens, you will be unable to place a new building. You can increase the citizen capacity by building shacks and homesteads. That is in the city building here. So adjacent to the sawmill, I could put, let's see, I'll put a shack there and a shack here to make good use of the area. And then the actual path that they take can be seen as sort of flagstone-esque, which is really nice, so that you can actually visualize the paths they take so that you don't block them. Now, I might also be able to physically build the lumber workers a shorter path if I wanted to, as the game alluded to. So that might look something like this, to be able to shortcut their way down to the citadel. And as a shorter path exists, they'll start to use it. So for instance, if I nuke the original path here, they have now designated a shorter, clearer path over to the citadel so that I get more wood collection, which can be seen up here. So my resources are in the top left, and we'll talk about oxygen when I get there, but we have wood and citizens, which is how many people are available to become soldiers or woodcutters or whatever else. So build a shack with a clear path to the citadel, and I've built 2 of the 3 that I need, so let's build the last one. I'll put that here. So this is like a, you can think of this as a little woodcutting neighborhood, if you will. It's also important that they do have a clear path, and that not only that, but you don't plop them in the path of something else. So I've laid them out in such a way that they don't block the sawmill, and they don't block each other, and they don't block any other pathing anywhere else.
Eyes open. That's right.
Might not be a bad idea to get a second lumber mill up too, with some of the excess citizens that we just moved in. So I'll get another sawmill here, even if the tutorial doesn't necessarily tell me to do it. It's nice to have a high income of raw resources. Not really certain why the game hasn't nudged me towards the next tutorial, though.
Low oxygen production.
In playtesting, I didn't run into this. Might have to restart this, which wouldn't take me too long.
The pálido shines.
I'm going to try to recycle one of these homes and re-trigger the completion of the home. It might be based on exploration. Yeah, that could be. I'm just not certain.
The pálido, we will prevail.
I mean, I've played through this before, but I just didn't run into this issue. Because I don't think it's based upon exploration.
Masks on.
Yeah, I'm gonna surrender and replay this.
That wasn't exactly how it happened.
Restart level. There was the warning at the start of this that it is a campaign in progress, but in my own experiences, I didn't really hit any bugs like this while playing.
Constructing this will take a moment.
We should build some steps to the sawmill while it is underway.
No, I'm just putting back what I had already done. One thing I will say is keeping the footprint of certain buildings
Excellent.
to a minimum
The
is
workers are
ideal,
gathering wood now.
as will become obvious much later on. All right.
We'll need somewhere for folk to live.
Okay, housing citizens. Let's try this again. 1, 2. You can build on flat surfaces atop other buildings, atop any structure made of stone pieces where there's enough room. So what that's essentially saying is, parts of this home here, I'll just quickly demonstrate, parts of these homes here have a flat part, and you can stack on top, you know, if you want to go full favela. The game will allow it. And that actually is exactly, that tutorial is exactly what I was just saying, which is very low footprint blueprints, where you don't take up a lot of room, is ideal, because essentially, for a lot of the maps, there's a finite amount of really truly defensible terrain, and you need to put a lot of economy and infrastructure within that area, so the smaller your footprint, the better the
air
design.
Here, it's stale with mist.
There we go. Oxygen production. Your units and buildings need a steady supply of oxygen to survive amid the mist of the old lands. Keep an eye on your oxygen production to avoid running out of breathable air. Your citadel generates a small amount, but you will need to build air filters to increase your oxygen production. Air filters collect oxygen, but need height to work efficiently. Mist settles on land, so the air above is cleaner. That means air filters work best when built atop other buildings or on stone columns. So this is where I am maybe going to design, and I'm not necessarily going to design a good blueprint for this, but my first blueprint for this. So let's go ahead and design ourselves a air filter. So before I do that, I just want to explain the mechanics of it. So the air filters look like this, and the higher up they are, the more efficient they are. So that 180 means that it will add 180 per minute at this elevation, where if I build them lower, let's say I build it at this, at this elevation, it will be less than that. So what we want to do, so now this is a 144, so it's not high enough to be ideal. What we want to do is we want to design it so that it takes the least amount of materials for the most bang for my buck. Because when you're up against swarms of the horrors, you know, efficiency is everything. So 5 meters up is ideal, and that's 5 meters above any terrain. So if I built this tower here 5 meters up, it would still be the same efficiency. So it's not based upon true elevation, but just elevation over the land that's beneath it. So if we put a air purifier up like this, then the air purifier needs a stairwell. So we want to design a stairwell that goes up to it so it has access to the citadel. Wouldn't it be useful in the houses? Perhaps, but there's a reason I'm doing this, so just let me demonstrate that. So the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to have it have a very small footprint below it, so it doesn't take up a lot of physical space. So something like a spiral staircase might be ideal, and minimizing the amount of wood cost as well. So one way to do this would be to, let's see. Underneath the top structure, I'm going to wind a staircase around so that it doesn't have a large footprint. And this isn't necessarily going to be min-maxed or anything. I'm just quickly slapping something together for the benefit of the stream. So to fully... so this won't work perfectly. As you can see, it's offset. Its entry point is wrong. But to quickly answer you, the amount of homes that you have and the amount of air filters that you use don't necessarily directly correlate with one another. So if you rely upon building air filters only on houses, or the ratio of those two things will be wrong, in other words. So designing it in such a way that you require one thing to have another thing is going to get you into trouble when you try to scale your designs up. I might not have explained that very well, but you're of course welcome to do it that way. I just don't think you're going to get a lot of mileage, but I could be wrong. Prove me wrong. I just don't think it will work, because often you need a lot more air filters than you need much of anything else. All right, let's have this take a little bit more room and go around this way. And it's still a pretty small footprint, but it doesn't use a ton of wood. And then if I go to the blueprints, I can hit create new, select the structure, and then I can essentially just copy and paste this thing so that if I want more oxygen, poof, there's the entire blueprint. I spent the resources for it, but I don't have to redesign it more than once.
These few shacks are but the start. We have more work to do.
But the day for us was nearly done.
Ambush! They were waiting for sundown! Fight for your lives!
We are needed.
So defend the citadel at all costs. Well, I don't think that that's going to go very
We
well.
will prevail.
We don't really have walls.
Yes.
So maybe I'll stand on the top of the citadel, but, you know. This looks like a bit of a foregone conclusion. There is traps out here. So there are physical spike traps and things like that, which will hurt enemies. But here's our poor citadel getting absolutely ravaged by the horrors.
Too many. This cannot be how it ends.
Victoria Elena, I've been wondering, what would we do if one of our perlas got, I don't know, compromised? Would it be lost forever?
That is a compelling question, little scholar. Our chroniclers say that in the Lost Reign, humans were able to fold the cloth of time itself for short periods. That way, even the most terrible mistakes could be undone. Of course, that arte of the Pallido was lost in the Cataclismo. But with training, my little sage, I'm confident you will discover it again.
Terrible mistakes undone?
A memory stirs. Iris is able to use an art called Time Anchor. This art allows her to fold time and try again. From now on, Lady Iris will be able to fold time when needed. You can use it to return to a previous morning or simply a few moments ago.
This is my only choice. To stop this, I need to fold time itself.
Did it work? I can't believe it. I'm back. A few hours before the attack, it looks like. This is too much. We fell here. No. I cannot let this moment pass. Another chance, another choice.
We should gather some stone before... Lady Iris, are you all right?
I am fine. Stone, you say?
Move to the marked position. Okay, let's do that.
Eyes open.
So we folded time. The infrastructure that I already constructed is still here. Gathering stone and minerals. To defend a citadel, you'll need strong walls. And as for strong walls, you will need stone. Some pieces, such as tactical pieces, also require minerals. To gather those, you will need to find a stone or mineral deposit. Gathering stone and minerals. Explore your surroundings for stone and minerals. A healthy supply of resources is essential to build proper defenses.
These minerals. If we build a quarry here, it will gather stone for our walls.
Well spotted. But our territory doesn't reach that far. At least not yet.
Expanding territory. A settlement's territory can be expanded with beacons, but a beacon must be built inside existing territory. You must construct additional pylons, just like any other building. So in the city building, we have the beacon, and the beacon's range is this like white square, or it's not really square, but white range around the building. So I have to build within the territory, and we obviously want to add the stone quarry to our territory. So I'm going to build a stone, or a beacon here to include the quarry. Now,
The Pallido shines. We will prevail.
and then once that's done, this section of the quarry will be, or the area will be added to our owned territory.
We are in for Ogar. We will prevail.
Excellent. Our territory now extends to the stone deposit. Let's start gathering.
Build a quarry to obtain a supply of stone and minerals. The efficiency of the quarry depends on how much of the resource is nearby. So the minerals are the orange and the stone is the gray. And I think 5 and 15 is about as good as it gets. And it's laid out in such a way that it really can only ever fit one in there. It's not like we're going to be able to fit multiples. And the quarry will also need a clear path to the Citadel, which one already exists. The beacon also requires a certain amount of oxygen per minute, so they're not built for free. All things require resources for the most part. So like shacks require oxygen, sawmills require people and oxygen, air filters require people, and so on and so forth.
That will do. Now, let's rebuild those walls.
Command troops to destroy scenery pieces by pressing T and then left mouse button on the target piece.
Eyes open, masks on.
So you can nuke these scenery pieces if we want, so that we can redesign them as we please. Alternatively, I could leave them as is and build around it, which suits me just fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double up the walls here. For the extra added security. And then the fact that we have double gates means it's going to be a little bit harder for the horrors to breach.
Those filthy horrors won't reach us so easily now.
Do not be so sure. Night arrives, and our rebuilding efforts have attracted them. Take positions.
Thank you for tuning in to Cataclismo, which originally streamed live on Twitch August 13th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you at next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Olgarians.